Assalamu alaikum, dear JSC students. Hope you all are fine. Uh, Today we'll start a very much interesting and very important lesson from chapter number 8 from your book BGS book. And this is actually there is a mistake. Sorry, it will be lecture number 2 and lesson number 3, 4, and 5. So throughout the country, throughout the world, a disaster is going on. So, what type of disaster? Can you tell me? Uh, yes, some can tell it is man-made disaster. Some may call it some may call it a natural disaster. But actually, what is it? Corona or COVID-19. This is a virus attack. It is generally we can assume as natural disaster because human being generally cannot or does not create these types of virus. Maybe there are some debate, but general assumption is it is natural disaster. So today we are going to discuss the main concept of disaster and different types of disaster and their inside of Bangladesh and their effects in our country, in our economy. And in this lecture, you will also learn and you'll get some tips. That means overall tips, not some, for writing notes on C and D type CQ question answer. Actually, all the slides, these are the notes for your CQ question answer. So let us start. We can see here, lesson number 3, the concept of disaster. Actually, what is disaster? Any natural or any man-made causes or event which hampers our life, stop our life, bring radical change in our life, which completely make our life abnormal and normal flow of life become stopped. So disaster can be divided into two types generally. One is natural, that we know everyone very easily, earthquake, tsunami, flood, that we can see in the um, pictures here at the background. These are all the pictures of natural disaster in Bangladesh. Okay, and other type is human being created disaster or man-made disaster. It is generally initiated by human being, and for that we have to suffer for long. And these types of disaster may we call war, then communal riots, deforestation, waterlogging, fire, and so on. So how we will answer what is disaster? So disaster when any natural or man-made situation becomes unnatural and intolerable, and as a result of which crops, assets, and lives are destroyed and environment is damaged, is called natural disaster. So we have discussed it. Actually, a condition when our day-to-day life is hampered, lifestyle completely become stuck, and which will be intolerable, and it will be normal. It will stop our normal flow of life. Then it will be called disaster. Natural disaster, we have learned what is natural disaster. Natural disaster take place suddenly, and human beings are generally become helpless for natural disaster. And when any natural accident or distraction hampers a normal flow of life, then we can call it natural disaster. So there are different types of natural disaster we can see throughout the world and in our country: flood, cyclone, tidal bore, then tornado, earthquake, drought, rivers, and tsunami. These are then man-made disaster. The disaster which are initiated by human being, and human being are the main cause to spread it, to cause it. It's called human created or man-made disaster. Example we have read. Now lesson number 4 and 5, as long we have learned lesson number 3. Now we are going to learn lesson number 4 and 5. In this lesson, generally we will learn different disaster, a natural disaster, and first of all we can see earthquake, which is the most dangerous natural disaster because it is completely unpredictable. Human being cannot predict like flood or cyclone, tornado, when it is going to be strike in coastal area or any region of the country. That is why earthquake is the most dangerous natural disaster, as because it is unpredictable. And the most earthquake prone area in the world is Iran, China, then Mexico, China, Chile, Japan, and in Bangladesh also Dhaka, Sylhet, Rangpur, and Chittagong, very dangerous area for earthquake. And it is, we can remember, most of you can remember in your early life you have seen in 2011 there was severe earthquake in Dhaka city and throughout the country. What is the result of earthquake? That it creates huge damage in the society and the environment, houses, and our economic activities and communication. And within few seconds and moment, it can completely destroy a society or a area where it strike. Now, tsunami, it is another kind of earthquake under the ocean, and tsunami is a natural disaster. It is actually this word has come from a Japanese word which means waves of the seashore. And if there is any movement at the seabed due to earthquake or volcanic eruption or any other regions, massive waves are created throughout a large area, then we call it tsunami. And its velocity is very dangerous. We know that these waves dive on the coastal belt with strong current ranging from 800 to 1300 kilometers per hour. And due to tsunami, the water of the sea turns tidal bore and enters with a great speed up to 10 kilometers or sometimes more than 10 kilometers in the coastal area. And the tsunami of Japan in 2011 is very much memorable throughout the world, and because it caused a very dangerous havoc throughout in their social country and in their economy and environment. and we know five uh, atomic station was damaged, and which ultimately caused very severe damage, and still human being people of their areas are affected. And now, well, the other natural disaster, that is landslides, which generally tsunami is not available in our country. Still we have not faced these types of natural disaster, but landslide or landfall is available in our country. We can see here in Chitramati, Khagrachuri, Bandarban, Silhet, and Netrokona. These are some areas where landslides are available in our country. And it almost every year we can see during the rainy season, which bring a very bad impact in our life in those area in our country. And here we can see the definition of uh, landslide: the sudden fall of a mass of earth from a hill or mountain is called landslide. Deforestation is very common natural disaster. Call it no, man-made disaster, because generally man initiate these types of natural disaster. And deforestation actually we cannot see its effect in our open eye, but it creates different types of natural disasters. It's the main cause of different types of natural disaster. And it is very dangerous for our lives, human life, or in all the living beings. So that's why 25% forest is very much urgent for every countries, in terms of their in terms of its total area. And in case of Bangladesh, it is only 16%, and which is bringing many disaster in our country. And it is just is very dangerous for our climate and weather. And it is day by day it is creating desertification in the northern area of Bangladesh. And other impacts of this deforestation already we have learned in class 6 and 7. Now, filling the water basins, uh, actually it is a man-made disaster. It is generally we can see throughout the country in our uh, rural areas. And for the urbanization process, many part of the country we can see the agricultural lands are filled up for making new house on real estate business. And for the demand of additional people, we are filling up our riverside, canals, ponds, and other marshy lands, which actually preserves rainwater and keep the soil moist. And again, the water being dried up with the sun rays cause vapor, which ultimately cause rain. And these types of natural flow of environment and ecological balance is being completely disturbed for the filling water bodies, because this natural process is disturbed. As a result, severely we are facing damage. And for filling water bodies, often we can see water logging in the urban areas, even in Dhaka city. Fire, it can be naturally initiated, but generally we don't see in our country. Australia is very much prominent for wildfire, but our country is at risk for man-made fire. Actually, fire may take place as a natural disaster as well as disaster caused by carelessness or an accident. Sometimes fire takes place at forests in many countries because immense heat and these types of natural disaster we call wildfire. This is another definition. It often comes in our exam also. So Bangladesh, still we can remember the Nil incident of Nimtoli fire incident where thousands of the people were affected, and generally the cause of fire in our country is electric short circuit, then lamps, or then ovens, mosquitoes coils, cigarettes, and hurricanes, and all the incident in our country. And sometimes chemical go down, and in garments area and jute males we can also observe and fire. So it generally in Bangladesh, man-made cause is the main cause of disaster. uh, so how we have learned today, natural disaster and artificial man-made disaster of the world, like tsunami, and in the Bangladesh, earthquake, then fire, landslide. So this may come in your exam. This generally come in C and D type questions. Okay, now we can see some question for practice, and that will be your homework. Okay, what is man-made disaster? Already you have learned. It came in Dhaka board and Dinaspur board in 2019 and 2018. And what is wildfire, that we have discussed. And what is the sign of desertification notice in northern part of Bangladesh, and why does landslide happens in northern part of Bengal, and generally hilly areas. So these are some important questions which has come several times in the different boards. Hope you will do this homework, and if you need any sorts of cooperation, please contact me. Okay, so may Allah bless all of you and take care, and any necessity please contact here at my cell number, and in my Gmail address also you can call. So that is the end of today's lesson. Thank you very much. Have a nice time.